Best of days to everybody here. We're just gonna do a real short video right here about using countersinks and bungs. I'm not quite sure if you're doing a boat or something that's going to be in water a lot. You want to use like a brass screw, preferably a flathead. And why I say flathead is when you use like a Phillips or a star bit, that gives you a lot more surface area for grabbing, where when you're using a soft screw, you want to be able to have that tip pop out of it real easy, because you don't want to sink the screw in and cause a lot of vice and pressure with the screw. We pre-drill the hole and you slightly put it in there just till it stops turning by hand, and that is enough for snugness. So let's get started here. I have a bit I've taken right here, and I've made this bit proper length for this screw here. Okay, so I'm gonna set this in my drill. Get it nice and tight, and we're gonna go over to a block of wood that we're gonna fasten together here. So I just hold it as close to the edge, make sure it's aligned. And you can do a simple layout, you know, if you want, so you know that you're centered. Might as well 3/4 out. That should get us close enough to a mid-center point here. I guess we could go over it. So if we're trying to find a center, what we can do if we don't have a tape is you'll just take a means of measuring on one side, you'll flip it over, make another mark, and you can see now we have a gap of that. Okay, so we take whatever tool we have for measuring and we'll close that distance in half, and that should pretty much get us there. And you just keep doing that till you find that the line, so I'm just a little proud, so we just take a smidge, as you call it, which is not a number, it's just a thing. And that looks good for half. So now that I know I'll be halfway on this board here, I can make a little mark here, make a little mark here, and we can look at the distance on this guy. So we're pretty much 2 5/8. So if you want to do this even, we're gonna pick around 3/4, or let's see, yeah, around 3/4 of an inch. So right there, and we'll do another 3/4 from the outside. And right there, and those will get us pretty close to even placement. I'm going to take my bit. So we'll talk about drill speed here. When using a wood bit like this, we want it high speed. When we're using like a Fastener bit or something to make a bung out, we're going to go low speed, or drilling in metal will be a low speed. And you're going to go down a little bit, pull out, clean the throats in these here, and take the wood out. See, it's, you know, every 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Put you back on high there. Okay. ourselves a hand driver for that flathead. Drop it in our hole. Get it started through there. And now we're coming out the other side. And we can feel by hand how much pressure we're putting and when it's going to meet up. We want it just snug. We don't want it over tight. We don't want to bring that screw and dig it past the wood with brass or bronze. Just enough to make that surface tension. And then I have a Phillips head here. A chrome nickel or whatever they are. You could use a driver, and this is a driver. They make that ratcheting noise when they're tightening. Okay, now those are both tight. Now what I'm gonna do is take my drill bit out. I'm gonna put in the plug cutter, and we're gonna take another piece of wood and kind of guesstimate what kind of grain would go real well there, because we're trying to match the top. So I'm gonna just kind of take some random drills into this, and I'll make that tighter. Pop these out with a flathead. We have our bungs. Try our best to get the grain proper. We're obviously, oh, I forgot to shove some glue down in there when we do that. All right. Usually shove some glue, and we'll take a mallet and just kind of tap, tap, tap. Not super hard. Seat them in there. Take a saw and get them, cut these off pretty close without scarring or scraping the surface with, so I do this a little bit proud, or try to. And we can clean up the rest here with a chisel real lightly. Or you can use sandpaper too, whatever you want. It was a little thick. We can use our chisel as a scraper too, if you hold it vertical. Do that on it. Another technique, if you're going to use sandpaper, we'll take a flat back and we'll put our sandpaper on that so we don't chunk over here, not to waste. So if we take this, if we're just going to use our fingers, we're going to start putting a lot of like divots and stuff. So we take a flat block, and if you have problems holding it, just take some super glue and super glue that on there. And this will get the surface nice and flat, and you won't get any waves in what you're doing. So that's how you mess around with some bungs there. Hope you enjoyed. We'll probably do a couple more little small ones as I'm going through stuff today here. Anyways, peace.